See this episode's show notes for our unique promo code to get up to 2 months of free podcasting service with Libsyn when you sign up for a new account. Get your show on Apple and Spotify, get helpful stats, and all the support you need to sound your very best.
Hi, I'm Erica Schultz, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back, loony listeners. You are listening to Into the Night of the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 333. We've got threes happening here, Rebecca.
Three. I mean, like, you planned this very well.
I'm, of course, one of your high priests of KHONSHU. Rebecca is in the house. Hello, Rebecca. In the temple. How are you?
Yeah, hanging about the temple.
Hanging about the temple after her travels overseas, and joining us, I must say, very honoured, is an OG loony Patroony now as well, Jonathan. Jonathan, welcome to the show for the first time.
Thank you, Ray. Thanks, Rebecca. It's an honour
Great
to be
have
here,
you. Yeah.
here in the temple.
Yes.
Yeah,
Tidied it up a bit, jazzed it up. 2023 temple with a fan.
Exactly. Well, I mean, Jonathan, you found a nice corner of the temple. I see there. You've actually got a bit of culture, a bit of artwork. How are you finding the temple?
Yeah. That's a very cover for yoga, I think. Yeah. So,
No, it's cool. Why not?
It's good. It's good.
Unfortunately.
Well, we make
all
do with what we can. I see
Yeah,
Ray's got a nice Moon Knight cover behind him.
I do as well. I'm in the other
Apparently
wing.
my comics have been moved to the bookcase behind me because I didn't put them away fast enough. So
yeah.
But yeah.
As well, Loonies, Patroonies, we do have a live YouTube video feed anyway. Go check it out so you can see the temple that we are talking about. Now this is the temple. So Rebecca's in the southern wing. Jonathan is just near the jacuzzi. That's that's Grant Mansion.
I was going to say that is Grant Mansion.
Yeah. Sorry.
But we should probably move there. It sounds plusher,
It does actually. I mean, we can. Just don't look at the video then, because we don't particularly really move. Anyway, Loonies, thank you so much for joining us. As mentioned, this is episode 333. We are doing a Moonshine, and I just want to say as well a huge thank you to the Loonies and Patroonies, Justin, Lena as well, Mario, Russell for jumping in for the previous episode where they did cover issue 25, a bumper milestone issue.
I know, what an issue for them to get as well. So thank you to all of them.
Yeah, it's massive. And so we couldn't not have Jonathan in here as well to get your thoughts, Jonathan, for issue 25. But we will be covering, of course, issue 1 of Moon Knight, The City of the Dead. It's our second Moon Knight series. It's great. I mean, it's great to be a Moon Knight fan at the moment. So
expensive, but great. Yeah, I'm flagging up. After Jed tweeted the other day, there's 4 issues in August. Yeah, it's pricey, but I don't think it's gonna. I don't think this will be forever. So
exactly,
we should take it while we've got it. Yeah.
Exactly. Strike while it's hot, of course. And speaking of hot, I want to thank all the Patroonies. You're all very hot. Thank you to the likes of Odin, Frank, Mario, Drew, Daniel, CLZ Comics, sponsors, as well as Dreamland Comics, the hottest of them all. So fantastic stuff. Rebecca, I know that you have recently returned from the travails all over. What was that like?
It was really good. I had a good time. It's been 11 years since I've been to Comic-Con. And obviously this was a very unusual year because there was no film and TV. There was film and TV, but it was mostly showing episodes, like no writers, no actors. And so there's a lot of people who say it was very focused on comics. I would say it had as much comics as usual, just they got a little bit more attention, which was nice. So I did a lot of the comic stuff. It was just nice. It was nice to be somewhere warm, and I mean, it's very
gets
hot
warm
here
in the
in a
UK.
nice.
Yeah.
It is warm here, but in a different way. Like, we do
Okay.
not suit it. It's nice to be somewhere warm where they also have air conditioning.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
had a great time in Seattle before and went to Disney, and yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I'm kind of toying with the idea of going back, but it is very expensive. So
yeah, it's certainly what a trip, what a memorable trip. Like, and yeah, I mean, it's a big leap. I know that you have ties, of course, to the US, but
yes.
any jumping overseas to a convention is like
It's just, I mean, I was very lucky because I paid for the tickets, my friend paid the hotel. The hotel's the expensive part. So if I did go again, I don't have the option. So you're suddenly looking at just how expensive it would be for people to go, and it's a lot. And but I mean, it's an incredible experience. Thankfully, I appear not to have come back with COVID like half the comics creators.
Yeah, I
But
saw
then
David
they all
Pepose.
partied together and spread it. So I guess like once one or two of them have got it, they're likely to hang out together. So I mean, it's terrible, but there were literally no COVID like precautions at all. So
all relaxed.
I assumed I would come back from it with it.
Yeah.
To the point where I was like, no, let's put me in quarantine when I get home.
No,
because,
thankfully,
No, I mean, like, we've literally not stayed. We've not been close until I'm sure I'm not sick, because you're somewhere where there's 135,000 people and no particular precautions. I think you have to assume you're going to get it, and then luckily
absolutely.
I seem to be fine. So
kind of like arms out, eyes closed, head up.
I mean, there's a limit to what you can do. Even if you're talking restaurant, like, you have to eat, and but even the streets are as crowded as the halls, so there's very little let up. And I mean, I mean, even people who wore masks and stuff, some people have got it. It was just, it's a lot of people. And what about you? How's your...
Yeah, no, for sure. Jonathan, you mentioned... Oh, sorry, there's a bit of a lag here. I'm hoping it catches up. So yeah, all good. I just wanted to ask Jonathan, because Jonathan, you mentioned that you do frequent the cons that Rebecca goes to locally, but you guys have never crossed paths.
No.
Yeah. I think only on the Facebook forum. I think you've mentioned in the past cons that, like, the Nice Con, Rebecca. I think that's near where you.
Yeah, that's my local. That's my local one.
So I go to that sometimes, and Thought Bubble, of course, which is.
Yes, I'm going. I missed it last year, but back this year, so looking forward to that.
It's going to be good. Jeff Lemire will be here.
I know. We'll be you and me at the Jeff Lemire going like, sign, please sign.
Yeah. So that'll be good.
Nice.
Looking forward to that.
Which any scalps you have acquired, Jonathan, going to cons, like autograph wise, and artwork or?
Yeah, I mean, my big hero is Bill Sienkiewicz. So he came to the London Super Comic Con years ago. So I commissioned him. It took a lot of years, I have to say, to get the 5 feet, but I've got it, so it's great.
That's amazing.
It's going straight to the source. Yeah.
So that's really good.
I mean, he is amazing.
And one of my prized possessions is it was actually in Thought Bubble, and then I was talking to Matt Fraction. I said, it'd be great if you wrote Moon Knight.
Oh.
And he said, but they've just announced Warren Ellis is going to do it. And and he said, the artist is over there, Declan Shelby. I said, okay. So I just walked straight over to Declan Shelby and said, I hear you're doing Moon Knight. And I said, could I have first dibs on the original art for issue 1? And he said, yeah, sure. So I've got...
Really? Wow.
I've got 3 pages from issue number 1 from Ellis, all the pages with the...
Oh, wow.
The one they made the Funko Pop out of,
Yeah. Nice. Wow, you have...
Really? Be at the right place at the right time, a bit like now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh my god! I wish I was
awesome.
that lucky. I want to say a big hello as well. Good morning to Russell. Hello.
Yes.
And it's a Gamma Beast, Jonathan. You are a Gamma Beast as well.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Hulk as well.
Just don't Hulk out on us, okay? Not while we're on this show, okay? We can't.
Let's see how it goes.
The new
depending
Hulk
on how you
looks
feel
really
about
good.
the
Can I
issues.
just say that's one of my takeaways from Comic-Con, which because I'm not a massive Hulk fan, like I like him in passing, but the new Hulk run looks really good. So I was inspired to go check it out, even though I'm not particularly into body horror. So
yes, absolutely. And there's a segue actually to Moon Knight because David Pepose, is it the writer of City of the Dead?
I think it's Pepose, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, he wrote the Hulk Annual, the last Hulk Annual.
Yeah, and I hear that was very good.
Yes. Yeah.
That was my trying to help
both
you out
of which I have still on my pile. Oh, yeah, awesome! Actually, that is fantastic. Look,
I know
we've got
Al's
a professional
doing a
here, Rebecca.
for
What
Hulk as well,
what are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Yeah. Also, PK Johnson, Rebecca. Yeah, I mean, like he is a good. I really like.
Yeah,
him.
I mean, he sold
Superman
the
run
Hulk
as
to
well.
me. Like he sold it on the panel to me. So, to be fair, he also sold like Superman and stuff. So.
All very good as well.
Good panelist, really.
That's good. Yeah, I mean that would have been fun to be in the panel, like to watch the panels.
They are fun. I mean, they're fun. They are fun. Some of them more boring than you would expect, and some of them more interesting than you would expect. So it's kind of this weird mix because some of them are like just we're going to advertise our comics, and if you already know a lot about them, and then other times they'll announce stuff or they'll show you interesting stuff, or you'll get weird. Like I was in a Boom one randomly.
Okay.
And Tom King ran on and announced a Boom series. So, you never really know what's going to happen.
He ran on.
Literally ran
He just keen to run on
halfway
there.
through. It's like, it's Tom King. Oh, I'm writing something for Boom, and then carries it. Then
He's ex-CIA guys. They're all actors.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, great. Look, one final thing I just wanted to ask Rebecca: were there a slew of like people lining up for questions, or was everyone kind of sheepish asking?
So the panels I went to, there were enough people lining up for questions to fill up the question line. Always at least one little kid with a very cute question, and then some actually really interesting questions. Like nobody asked anything like mean-spirited like I might have for some of them. I didn't get up. There was only one panel that I considered getting up for, and I'm glad I didn't. But
okay. Oh, nice. Well, it sounds awesome. I just my other co-host Saren from To Know Her Is to Fear Her, she's got her tickets to NYCC. She cannot wait. So I'm just so jealous for both of you. But I am just living through you, so that's awesome.
And just so everyone knows, I wasn't able to get the exclusive Moon Knight pin because I'm not going to queue for 5 hours for it. Sorry.
That's right. What is that pin on your shoulder right now? No, I'm joking. No, people who Rebecca tells the truth, of course. Look, we are here, of course, to talk about City of the Dead. But before that, I wanted to get your thoughts because the guys did an awesome job last episode about issue 25. I'm very keen to hear yours, Jonathan. You did say you potentially weren't as, enthusiastic, or I don't know the words, but I don't want to cast you in a bad light. But you had other some critiques on it. But yeah, what did everyone think of issue 25? I loved it. I just loved the scope of it. I thought it was quite epic, and I loved how it bounced between the Karnak Cowboys and it being almost like a spy kind of action comic, rather than superhero comic, and then it bounces to Moon Knight. So many different things. The guys have covered it before as well. 8 Ball, all the call outs to the previous villains. But I'll start with Jonathan. What did you make of 25?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it's great to see 8 Ball always, isn't it? And I like this suggestion of having 8-Ball as Moon Knight's pilot. That has a kind of a goofy appeal to it.
Yeah.
Imagine that in the future.
And he's a jet propulsion engineer or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't realise that before, but it's a bit of character development on 8-Ball is always good. And there was, I thought there was some good character moments, right? With because I think Jed MacKay does have a good grasp of Mark Spector and his motivations and his kind of masochism and so on. So I think he, the quote about when 8-Ball is saying, it's easier to be the guy everyone thinks you are.
Yes.
Right? And Moon Knight can identify with that. So I thought that was nice. And then also when Stuart Clark is taunting Moon Knight with, why don't you just use a gun? Which
that was great.
Which we've all thought over the years, right? And it's just because I don't like who I am with a gun in my hand, So that again is a good Moon Knight character moment, I thought. I mean, I do think it does, because I think where Jed falls down a bit is on resolving arcs and resolving stories. That he tends to kind of string it out, kick the can down the road a bit. So we have Black Spectre's already left for the next issue by the end, and we had that with Zodiac as well. I think before that, things they never quite. You get these very multi-layered and built-up kind of layered stories, and then they get resolved very easily. So in this case, we have 8-Ball comes back and hits Waxman over the head, and it's okay, problem solved. Yeah. So that was too easy, I felt.
Yeah, I mean, not in defense of or anything, because of course all your points are valid as well. But I mean, I think the advantage of that and the good thing of doing that is that you kind of round out this milestone issue as well, like it being 25. So if someone just picks up this one issue, you've got like a really kind of closed out kind of story, which I think is really cool. And I don't think it would have the impact for a casual buyer consumer as opposed to the likes of us who've read it from issue 1, where you get those payoffs with the Waxman and Manslaughter Marsdale and Mountain Marco, all that sort of stuff. That was really cool. But absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There sometimes it does get wrapped up quite conveniently. I mean, that Waxman. I mean, what was it? Was it a cue stick that kind of dispersed him?
I hope so. Yeah. So there's that.
Yep. Sorry. Go on, Jonathan.
I think what was really good also was the filling in the backstory of Mark's mercenary days and having a different artist for those passages was good. It's kind of a throwback to the Lemire run, wasn't it? With the 3 different artists following the different threads. So that was well done, I thought, as well. Which sort of sets up the City of the Dead, doesn't it? So that was good too.
Yeah. I mean, again, I just want to reiterate. I kind of love that those passages, those scenes where the Karnak Cowboys and Dr. Plesko, Frenchie, and Layla as well, all in there. It just was a little bit more. I mean, it was a little shift away from superhero isms, and it was just a nice little action piece. And I just loved everything that was so kind of calculated, like how they worked as a unit. I mean, Rebecca, you and I know those backup stories in the 80s comics where they showed Mark before he became Moon Knight. They were great.
Oh, they were so fun.
They're like James Bond-esque.
They were so fun.
Yeah. But Rebecca, what did you make of 25?
I don't know if it's because I read it so much later than everyone else or quite in isolation, but I kind of felt that I enjoyed it, but not as much as I've enjoyed many of the comics before it. I thought it was a little bit higgledy-piggledy. There was a lot being thrown at us, not just to get the story finished, but just to... I don't know how to say it. I don't think I was as in love with it as some people were. I liked seeing the Karnak Cowboys. I think they did their bit in setting up for this issue. That's all they needed to do. I loved the art for them. Just all the sort of, like you said, the Black Spectre, Zodiac stuff. Like there were bits that I loved. There were pages that I loved, and then other pages that felt a little bit rushed. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. You know, it just wasn't one of my top ones. Would have been a 7.5-ish. You know.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if we were to rate it, Jonathan, what would you give it?
Ooh, maybe a 7.
7. So Jonathan's first ever solid round boy. So that's Jonathan's. I'd give it.
I keep forgetting they have those, and I love it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, KHONSHU's rating system. I'd give it a bit higher. I really did enjoy it. Big beautiful yellow man from KHONSHU, an 8 out of 10. I just think it did what you kind of expecting, and it was hugely satisfying in that regards for me anyway, about it just kind of rounding up everything and making it a huge milestone issue. Like it's like bringing the whole band of villains together, and and expanding on Black Spectre. I love the Zodiac interaction as well, and him in jail as well with Trent, the old Black Spectre.
I did like that.
So yeah, it's a lot of thought, and the fact that Mark as well says, "Oh, I killed 2 Black Spectres before or something, or 3."
Yeah,
this
will be fun. That's what I mean. There was some absolutely great bits.
Yeah.
The stuff in the prison was really good. Some of the Zodiac sort of showing off stuff, grandstanding stuff was great. Kind of made me like Zodiac a bit more. I mean, not that I didn't like him, but it just gave him a bit more personality than we've seen, because we got to see more from his point of view and less of him like stalking Mark. So yeah, he felt more like a more rounded villain. Yeah, so I mean, there were definitely bits I liked about it. Overall I just felt, I don't know what I was expecting. I do think it would be not necessarily the easiest comic for someone who hasn't been reading the run to pick up, which I guess is one of the things I kind of expect these marquee episodes to do. But there's no reason why they should. I mean, they're meant for us. They're meant for the people reading it, not for the people not reading it. So
yeah, well, I mean, it's a good point that you've raised there, Rebecca. It is a bit of a fine line, isn't it? Because there is a very conscious decision to meld the MCU now with Moon Knight. So the boys last episode were talking about how it's funny that we do get the first appearance of Layla in issue 25 when City of the Dead issue 1 was kind of thereabouts touted as potentially being the first appearance of Layla because she was on the front cover.
But I think we knew she was going to be in this one as well. I mean, they talked about the Karnak Cowboys, and we knew she was going to be part of them. So I think the difference is that this one we had Layla, and in City of the Dead was the first appearance of her as Scarlet Scarab.
True. But I mean, but I mean, I guess just tracking back to the point of doing that fine line of like you're making this milestone issue, making it for the long-term fans, as well as trying to bring in trying to get new readers in, and I definitely think by integrating the MCU and most importantly like Layla in there, we're starting to get that kind of overlap, which is cool. I mean, I like it. We've seen it before with Darcy in Scarlet Witch, and like Agent Coulson, in those comic books years ago. So it's not unheard of, but it's fun. It's fun to see. And I don't know, actually, Jonathan, anything else, any other points from 25 that you wanted to raise before we shift gears?
One thing that occurred to me, it felt a bit like Arkham Asylum, Grant Morrison's Dave McKean, the fact that you have these villains that are appearing and he's fighting them sequentially and going through it. And there was a bit of that vibe to it, I thought, also.
Okay. Totally unfamiliar with Arkham Asylum. I don't know who you may. Is it Superman? Is it? Anyway, let's move on. No, absolutely right, Jonathan. That did have that feel to it, for sure. Well, I think this is a good segue, 25, because as we mentioned, Layla is featured in it, and I love the relationship she has with Mark, and there's a little interaction between Plesko and Frenchie. Oh, these two, they're going to argue. What's the diagnosis or whatever? He goes, oh, yeah, they're going to argue like anything, and then they're going to make up, and then,
Yeah,
and lo and behold, they do that.
It's how to retrofit a relationship in there. Like.
yeah, exactly. It's a very clever way of doing it.
Yeah.
But we get there's actually a bit of a gap, I think, for Layla as we know it, and where we see Layla next in City of the Dead. So I'm going to throw this up here on the video for those watching. So we are looking, at Moon Knight, City of the Dead. I do have the details here, I think.
I've got them up on the
so yes, released. Yes. Oh yeah. I'll just read the release and cover date. Rebecca, if you read the credits, release date July 19th, 2023, with a cover date of September 2023.
Writer David Pepose, I think it's pronounced that way. Penciler Marcelo Ferreira Inker, J. Leisten. Colorist Rachelle Rosenberg, yay. Letterer Cory Petit Editor Tom Brevoort, and Annalise Bissa and Martin Biro. Get all the names. Do you want me to read the summary
available?
As well? Oh, available
yes,
in
please,
floppy
Rebecca,
and
of course.
Digital. We say that every time.
I hope everyone got there. Actually,
available.
Before we go into the solicit, Rebecca, I just want to ask, for this City of the Dead, anyone pick up any variants? Jonathan?
I got the Scotty Young one.
I got the Malib.
Ah, nice.
Oh, I love the Malib one.
Oh, lovely.
It's a very nice one.
Look, yes, I got the regular, but I'm also very fickle, and I got drawn in by the glittery cover. There's a cover that's kind of foil
cover.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that one. I got that one as well.
That's nice as well. I have that bookmarked in case it ever gets reduced in price. But I'm
hoping it goes the other way, Rebecca. Come on.
I got the Scotty Young one because I can't resist Scotty's Moon Knight, especially. So.
Mm-hmm. Good covers.
Yes.
It had an amazing set of covers. Like, there's other comics I've bought this year that have multiple covers, all of which I hated. So, so I'm pretty happy with the City of the Dead ones. Really nice set of covers.
Well, there's a Sienkiewicz coming up that is really great.
I saw really nice. Yeah.
For number two. For 3.
You've got that. You're eyeing that, aren't you, Jonathan?
I am.
You've got the finger on the trigger there.
I have pre-ordered it, in fact. Dare I say?
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. So check your eBay.
Yes, so Rebecca. So we do have. We didn't do a synopsis, but I did throw in the solicit for this.
That's fine. So the solicit. This is written by Marvel. So any complaints to them? When a young runaway is attacked by a gang of death cultists, he is left barely alive outside the Midnight Mission. But Mark Spector made a vow long ago to defend the Travelers of the Night, and as long as a spark of life remains, his mission isn't over. Follow Moon Knight on his most harrowing adventure yet, as the Fist of KHONSHU journeys far beyond the land of the living, and battles across the mind-bending underworld known as the City of the Dead. I'd
Yay!
Give it due excitement.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a fever pitch for this. So that pretty much kind of sets the scene. We'll get into some of the details, of course, in it. But of course, first impressions off the bat, Jonathan. What did you make of this after having, of course, read issue 25 not that long ago?
Yeah. I think it's. I like the concept, the setting of this City of the Dead. It's a bit like Black Panther. You can imagine it would have been funny if he ended up in the Wakandan in the Wakandan Channel and saw all the panthers sitting in the tree. or in around the boardroom where they've been recently said, "Sorry, wrong channel. I need to
yeah, exactly.
go back to the Egyptian channel." So, but no, it's a good setup, isn't it? A good premise. The City of the Dead, and for the miniseries, and you just it does make you think about what's the exit.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Go on.
Oh no, sorry. Go on, Jonathan.
No, I mean it sets it up nicely for the miniseries and gets you thinking about what's the when we hear about the death of Moon Knight and all this, what's going to be the exit strategy here, and we can talk about that later on. So I think it's good.
Yeah, and how about you, Rebecca? What did you make of this?
I thought it was a bit of a mixed bag.
Series?
I think the story's pretty interesting. A little bit easy, I think it was a good jumping off point, but I think the best of this run will not be in issue 1, if that makes sense.
Okay.
There was a fair amount of setup, which was setup-y. But I love the art, except for one specific page, which is unfortunate. And unfortunate because it's the one that's bandied around the most. But the things I'm interested in are the things that are definitely going to come, I hope, in the next issues. So I give this a bit of a pass for being a bit set-up-y. Like it did its job, and I didn't hate it. So I mean, I liked it. I should say that. Saying I didn't hate it sounds very sort of almost aggressive about it. But like, what I mean is, I enjoyed it. I just didn't love it. So
yeah. I was pleasantly surprised with it. I really kind of didn't know what to expect, other than the high concept of the premise. But yeah, the art, Rebecca, for me, I thought was really, it reminded me a little bit of Vengeance of the Moon Knight, some of that kind of artwork.
Well, has he done Moon Knight before?
Don't think so.
I think so.
No, there was another
No.
Ibrahim oh yeah, you're right. No, he hasn't. I don't think he has.
No, I thought it was very good. Like I said,
So yeah, I mean, so I was really pleasantly surprised with the art. I thought David Pepose did a fantastic job writing. I mean, I've been following his stuff for years now, and I like a lot of his Marvel stuff, and he's doing a really good job with Moon Knight. I thought it was really good, and I think having it set, it's nice because where we have Jed MacKay dealing with Moon Knight and the Midnight Mission, and very much being in the realm of our world and street level, this is immediately right into the Egyptian kind of lore, and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought that was just a nice departure from it, and I think characterizations and voicings of Moon Knight, I mean, we can get into that a bit later, but I think it was fair. It was good. He didn't do anything that was totally against what we know, I think. But I don't know. Do you think the same, or Jonathan? Or
I think all of this, like in a way, because Rebecca was talking about retrofitting Layla into the backstory, and it's being done in a way which is like additional to what we already know, right?
Yeah.
It's not really disagreeing with anything. So in that way, it's not a retcon. So it is a retrofitting, but it's not a retcon.
Yeah, no, I mean, that seems to work very well for me. So to go back to what I was saying about wanting to know going forward is like, now the important thing is like, how does she become the new Scarlet Scarab? Because even though we know some of this is the MCU synchronicity, it's not going to be done in the same way because, she wasn't with Mark when that happened. So as far as we know, so that's kind of like, that's the bit I'm excited about with Layla, is like, how does she become the Scarlet Scarab? Is she going to cross over into the living world?
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not. Like maybe she, but hopefully we'll find out a bit more about that. And yeah, I thought I enjoyed it. I love. Can we just talk about Rachelle Rosenberg very quickly? The coloring again, even with a different artist, just doing some really clever stuff to like make it all stand out beautifully.
It's gorgeous.
That was the best thing about it. I've got to say, I wasn't loving the art, to be honest. So
I liked it, I have to say. But yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
I thought it was some nice backgrounds as well.
Yeah, I mean, I liked. I think I was trying to work out: is it the penciling or is it the inking? Right. So I looked at some of the pencils on Ferreira's Instagram, which I thought they look a lot better actually.
Right.
Because I like the perspectives. I like the composition of especially the action scenes, right? But like that third page we just saw there, I think the inking, there's a kind of miscommunication with the inker and the penciler, right? Because that bit around the eye, the left eye, right? And I thought, what's this?
Yeah.
Looks like Daredevil's radar sense.
Yeah. Something different. Yeah.
I like the weird front panel on the costume as well.
Yeah, what's that about? And then I think there's too many inking styles here, right? So you've got like this feathery kind of line work on the legs, and then you've got solid blacks elsewhere, and you've got spatter on the capes, and it's just too much going on, I think. So I think there was a kind of a mismatch between what's going on between the pencils and the inks that I think killed it. But I think the colours redeemed. There's especially the big double page spread with when they get to the cityscape. I mean, it's all about the colour, to be honest.
And just further to that point as well. I mean, Rebecca, you're talking about Rachelle Rosenberg. This has been more so than ever, I think. I've just noticed, like, because of the beautiful saturation of colours in the background, that I've noticed just how white Moon Knight is, compared to everything else. She really makes him stand out, and he's got that signature glow to him as well. But just the colours are really beautiful here, and I think appropriate for something like the Duat or the Afterlife. You've got to have something that's really kind of not. I think saturated. That's what I can think of.
It's weird because like you can go either way. You can go like really unnatural or really sort of pallid, and there's a nice mix to this. Like we kind of have a bit of both. Because like when he's talking to the gates, behind the gates of Osiris, that's quite not muted, but muted compared to the pages that follow. It's still actually really unusual colors because it's like purples and to let Moon Knight stand out as the white character. So,
I loved how we got the introduction of some of these deities as well. Osiris. We get the who's the executioner? I can't. Shesmu. Fantastic, and again we get the call outs for those that have watched the TV show. Will be familiar with the Duat, but we'll be familiar with this the scales of justice as well, with the weighing of the heart. So there are a lot of nods to the TV show, but I love it how they're expanding it with the Egyptian. It's so weird. I mean, I just couldn't help but think of Hawkman, like in DC. How you get really entrenched with all that really cool kind of thematic. Just the aesthetic of these Egyptian-based characters, and it's really cool. So I'm very excited for the fact that Moon Knight is now hitting that potential with that Egyptian lore. So yeah. Sorry, I thought I heard a ghost. That's all right. We'll go on.
A little bit of a worry.
Bit of a worry. Yes. So. For those, I mean, the solicit does a good job to give us a summary, but basically what happens, as it says, there's a boy that gets accosted by the Sons of the Jackal, and he gets mortally wounded. It's great to see Hunter's Moon in this as well, Dr. Batter. We get a furthering of that kind of mythology for Moon Knight about Batter being the other fist and knowing some rituals.
Being the one who actually knows what's going on with some of this stuff.
Well, he's a
Is it time to jump in with my off the wall prediction about Khalil?
Do it.
Being our potential next Moon Knight.
I'm
throwing it out there, like, since we know there's the Death of Moon Knight storyline coming, which, I'm not saying it will happen. Who knows? He's died before, as we know. But if you wanted to,
that's pretty cool, actually.
Just throw away one. Just
Jonathan, any
case.
Jonathan, any hot takes on your end?
Well, I'm thinking, if you go to David Pepose's website, it says death is only the beginning. So you start to think, actually, this city, you've got lots of villains to slap around. He's got his ex-girlfriend there. She's been working out. She's got a new wardrobe. He might think
she's been working out.
This is my kind of town. Maybe he wants to stay.
Yeah.
So maybe he wants to stay.
Maybe he wants to stay with the love of his life before Marlene.
Stay dead.
I don't want to call her the love of his life because I think the relationship with Marlene was a good one. So, but yeah, the former love of his life. So maybe he would stay there.
You could just have an ongoing status of Moon Knight in the City of the Dead. Why not?
Yeah. I want to know what happened to Layla as well. I think that's great. I love this kind of gap between 25 and this City of the Dead, and Layla is somehow the guardian of the City of the Dead, and how did that happen? And again, I love how she's kind of tied to Tawaret, which again is from the MCU.
Yeah.
So there are some threads that are very, synchronicity, as you're saying, Rebecca, but it's different enough as well. But you're right.
And
this
there
could
is
be
a Scarlet Scarab in
even
in
if
the
Moon Knight
comics.
stays there.
There's a Scarlet Scarab in the comics. It's not that weird for there to be a sort of legacy Scarlet Scarab. So we just need to see how that happens or not. Just accept it. It's fine. I'm not against MCU stuff that was good creeping over. So,
oh no, me absolutely not. Actually, I'd loved the Scarlet Scarab, like Layla's Scarlet Scarab. I don't know anything really about the comic book Scarlet Scarab. Jonathan, do you know anything about the history of that? It's very different though, wasn't he? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a bit sudden, to be fair, that she became the Scarlet Scarab in the cinema, in the cinematic universe. Yeah. So it's quite nice that they're doing this in a different way, I think.
Exactly, Jonathan. I'd go even as far as to say episode 6 of Moon Knight. It was a floodgate of stuff that just happened all of a sudden. Yeah, it was. Yes. I don't want to say a rush, but everything happened. But yeah. So a really interesting premise. I guess another point that I had here as well. The Sons of the Jackal. It reminded me, Rebecca. I think it was a Moon Knight annual with Kang. Remember that? And there were the streets, and there were some Egyptian acolyte gangs around. I don't think they were.
I think
in particular Anubis.
Or maybe it was a Black, White, and Red. Black, White, and Blood.
It could be Black, White. It could be Black, White, and Blood as well. Yeah, but it had echoes of that for me in this.
I just love jackals. Not to say that's. I'm like werewolves up for jackals whenever they appear. Fully on board. I'm just sad that KHONSHU doesn't have more of an animal that Mark can turn into. Fully on board. I always like to see more of the Egyptian stuff in there. So,
and just moving to this bit here, I don't know what your thoughts are. I kind of was a bit lost here. Look, I did read about it a little bit quickly. They're going through the history of it, and I guess there were worshippers of Anubis fighting Moon Knight.
There was definitely a bit where I got a bit lost, and this is probably about it. So, yeah.
I've got to N sub Nur. It's not Apocalypse, is it?
It is Apocalypse. Yeah.
It is. Okay, I thought so. Okay. Yeah.
Reminds me of a very fun time when I woke up from a dream and just said N Sabah. Really freaked everyone out. Why are you dreaming about Apocalypse? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. But thoughts on this particular moment, Jonathan? It just kind of, I think it just reiterated. Well, it seemed like a mismatch of Apocalypse and the Anubis.
Yeah. It's clearly making the case that this is a place where strange things happen quickly, and so they've suddenly got their powers enhanced. And he's thrown into this sequence of memories, isn't he?
Yeah.
His worst memories, which include the Hooten run.
Memories.
So,
and this, Rebecca, of course, as you say, you'd love werewolves.
Yeah, I
wolves.
love seeing my little boy werewolf by night. So, and don't love so much seeing Bushman's face ripped off, but I know it's a big fan moment.
Look at that floppy.
But he
Look at
does
the
call it
floppy
one of his
skin
worst
there.
memories. So.
Yeah,
interesting
true.
that he said that, isn't it? Because most Moonlight fans would probably agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess holding a skinned face isn't particularly pleasant memory, but who knows?
Well, let's not forget that he wore it later on as well. So
It's just nasty. I mean, I know it's deep within the origins, and I do love it for that. But it's just the amount of times it's brought up as this iconic moment when he's not really done anything that similar to it again. Is always amuses me. Like I obviously I would not want the story without it. But the number of time people raise this is what Mark does all the time. It's like, well, not that often. I mean,
No, he doesn't. He's done it once.
You have to like really annoy him to get your like face ripped off.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, one of the chilling things I thought of 25, there was that thing where he's talking to Matt and Marco, and he's saying, I think he said something along the lines, "Remember what I told you last time we met?" And I think that's it. I think it kills him, right?
Yeah.
Off panel. That's really cool. I thought that was a good bit of writing. Anyway, looking again for those that have the video going through, it looks like we get here a little bit of a glimpse at Layla's demise, which triggers. However, she ends up being the avatar for Tawaret and the Scarlet Scarab, so that's pretty cool. And again, you can see Frenchie having a go there, Plesko. So that's a nice tie into issue 25.
Yeah, and so we go back to that with the Hydra goons and everything, and that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, what do you guys think of Hydra? Like Hydra now involved in it? I think that's pretty. I mean, always we had Rutherford Winner.
I always love Hydra involved.
Isn't it cool? Yeah, I love tying it with Hydra. Sorry, Jonathan, did you any thoughts on Hydra?
Yeah, I mean it's they're always there somewhere, aren't they? Why not?
Yeah, it was lingering like a bad smell, really. Just like what are you doing here again? Far out. But yeah, so I thought it's not meant to be funny, but I thought it was a bit of a funny way to get rid of all the jackals. Just the thrusters, just burning them all. But again, I think beautiful art here.
I do like him saying things like, "I remember how the story ends. I don't care if I burn." That seems very Mark,
Yes.
We're back to that. I don't care about the pain I'm in. My nightmares are where I feel most at home. I think that's almost where it found its feet. I mean, like, for me. Was just getting to that point, and so very good.
Yeah, I do like. I like the way his eyes are round sometimes.
I like it. A bit of,
I did like that. It's
expression.
very funny. They should do that more.
Yeah.
The eyes like that, and the lines coming off to show surprise. It's good because it's similar to like Spidey.
It's very hard Spidey. Is it Spidey poses as well, right? And he's quite skinny and
true
depiction. So
yeah. But again, so obviously, as we mentioned, we get this is the issue where we see the first appearance, I guess, of
I hate
Layla.
This art. And it's so unfortunate because I love the costume, I love her, but I think this pose and everything about it is just.
It is a bit. The perspective and proportion is a bit weird.
I think
isn't
my main problem is that her face, and she just.
She's a bit smug, isn't she? In this, she's looking a bit smug.
Yeah, she looks like really smug, sneering, and there's no need for that. It doesn't match the mood of the comic.
There's no need to be smug. It's true.
There's no need to be smug just because you're not dead. That's my my lesson to everyone. But like, I hate that I don't like it because I love her. I can't wait, and I'm sure when we see her again, it will not have that reaction from me.
Well,
I hate it. It's like I can look at it, but I just hated seeing it bandied about Twitter before I could read the issue because I was like, I really don't like this pose, and I really don't like the look on her face. So like, I just keep going, oh, please let there be more of her, and then of course there's not that much more of her in this issue, but
no,
that's
a bit. Sorry,
she's a bit standoffish, isn't she? With this, it's not exactly a love union, is it?
Yeah, I'm even fine with her being a bit standoffish, but the pose is just like, yeah, you're right. The pose adds to it, and it's just like, if it was just the words, that's one thing, but she doesn't sound like her words aren't standoffish. She just says, "Oh, it's been a long time since anyone's called me Layla."
Yeah.
You know, they clearly have a little hug then.
Yeah.
We are told.
We are told.
It's a bit of a missed opportunity, isn't it? I mean, this is the first appearance, right? So this is your chance to really make an impression as an artist. Look, taking nothing away from Ferreira, because again,
No,
like
but
I said,
you know what?
I like his
But
art.
what I would say is, like, the weird thing is that I really like the art for every other page. So it's really not taking anything away from the artist, because I really liked everything about it. I just think this, for me personally, was a bad choice, and I didn't love it. So
I would agree with you. It was, for me, it was a bit underwhelming for something that's meant to be a showcase.
I would have loved the full-on splash page as well, like we, or something like we got when we got Stained Glass Scarlet back.
Yeah,
I would have loved something like that, that really just blew us away. And for me, this isn't it. But I'm hoping that in future issues we get. But I really did like the art. So please, if you're listening and you're the artist, I loved your art.
Oh yeah, no,
I just didn't
great.
like this page. So.
You know what I kept on comparing it to as well? It was the first appearance of Scarlet Scarab in the TV show, and how kick-ass she looked then. Like, it's just awesome the way it was shot. And then she kind of like was looking down. She kind of looked up, and she had a little smirk on her face.
Yeah.
I thought that was just absolutely perfect.
But I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. So
yeah, oh yeah, me too. Me too. I'm glad she's established, and I just hope we do regularly see her. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I think we will. I think that's kind of the point of this mini. I don't know how much we'll see her after that, but at least then she's fully established in the 616. So
yeah, I mean after the mini as well.
Oh yeah, I hope we see her again as well. I guess it depends a little bit how this sells.
True, and I don't know. What do you guys think of? I've made my intentions known on Twitter about how sad I am that potentially Jed MacKay is wrapping up his run. You guys front runners for taking over Rebecca? I think I know you mentioned two writers that.
Well, I think obviously David here and Erica Schultz.
Both great choices. I think.
I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to to follow McKay's run, and we'll see.
Absolutely.
But if they've got good ideas, they're fully capable of doing it. So I mean, I wouldn't be upset with either of them. There's only like 3 Marvel writers that I might be like, not sure I'd like them writing it, and none of those are ones I've recommended. So
how about Jonathan Hickman?
I don't know. I was trying to think. I mean, they've been through quite a few of them, haven't they? Ordinarily, we said Jason Aaron, but the Age of KHONSHU was not.
That didn't
justice to it.
No.
But,
I mean, I would love Al Ewing, but I don't know if he would.
Al Ewing too, yeah, he'd be good, yeah.
Jewish writers. I'm thinking of the Jewish writers, keeping them up.
Yeah. So Jonathan, if not Jason Aaron, who would you want? Like, who would you see? Like, really?
I just think they need to find some new writers, don't they? I mean, there seems to be like quite a small pool, and you think surely there's other writers. I think they've done quite well in pulling people from outside of comics, like in She-Hulk, Rainbow Rowell. She's been very good, I think.
Oh, she's awesome. Yes, I love that series. Yeah,
I think she was nominated for an Eisner, wasn't she? I don't think she won it.
Oh, was she? Oh, wow. Awesome.
So,
nice.
For that series. So, I mean, she would do a good job on Moon Knight, I think. But I think they need to kind of like expand the pool a bit, I think. There's loads of talented writers around, right?
There are with a whole lot of different ideas. So why not? You got to, and give them the opportunity. Look, because they have given the opportunity to the likes of, say, your Donny Cates and your Jed MacKays, and they've kind of
taken the ball. I think Oscar Isaac should write it.
Oh,
I mean, if Iman can write Ms. Marvel, I think we should have Oscar now. Maybe not. I don't know. I think David Pepose and Erica Schultz are the most likely. But I would love to have something like that shocked us all.
Anna Senti, Rebecca Anna Senti.
Anna Senti would be very good. What about Hickman, right? To continue with the
I mean,
Moon Knight.
look, I would be interested in Hickman, but the Black, White, and Blood thing didn't sell me on it.
Didn't really, yeah.
I want a series of that.
He's a great writer, so you know. Yeah,
Yeah,
if
no,
he could
he's a great
explain more
writer.
about what was going on in that, totally up for it. Yeah.
And just finally, this is wrapping up this issue on the last page. I just wanted to get your thought. This was great because, you know, issue 25, we got a bit of
I went and looked them all up for you, Ray.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know all of them except for one.
Well,
so
I listed them in the notes. So
yeah, okay. Well, Rebecca, go for it. Who have we got?
Taurus.
Yep.
Midnight. Chainsaw. Black Spectre. Plasma. And Master Sneaker.
I thought it was Plasma. Oh, of course. I thought it was Plasma. I thought so. But then I was thinking of Marvel Comics Presents 31 again. I was thinking, hang on. Plasma was Moon Knight wasn't in there, but yeah, she was in 25 of Mark Spector Moon Knight. So you're right. Yeah, Plasma. Yeah, cool. And she had all those Egyptian followers as well.
I hope everyone's very impressed. I finally looked something up.
That was fantastic, Rebecca.
There's some real deep
Jonathan.
dives there.
I'm going to Yeah, I'm just gonna dangle the carrot in front of you, Jonathan. You got all those? Did you as well? I'm sure you did.
I saw them all.
Pick them all? Yep.
I saw them all on the cover for number 3, aren't they?
Okay.
I haven't looked. That's cool. That's cool.
It seems they all fight him together in a big bundle. So.
Well, I'm sure he has Layla's help, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's on the cover, so I don't know. Maybe she's still a bit standoffish.
And better. Maybe Hunter's Moon as well. I don't know.
I don't know. He didn't seem that keen on the journey to the duat.
He's got to look after Khalil in the real world.
He does have to save Khalil's life.
That's true.
He can, you know.
I just can't wait to see Arsenal in action. He's such a dodgy character.
Conquer Lord. Yeah.
Conquer Lord. Oh, why is there not Conquer Lord here?
That would be amazing. That
Shame
would,
on you, David
break
Pepose.
The internet.
Conquer Lord with his rats.
Oh, wait a second. I scored it for Jonathan. I'm used to my name being first.
Yeah. So, I guess, you know, wrapping up on this issue as well, Jonathan, I'll lead off with you. What would you give this one, City of the Dead?
I'd say, for me, the art was a bit of a letdown. So I think I'd have to give it. It'll be a 6. I think
6. So Jonathan's first ever Getting Small Moon. Well done, Jonathan. 6. Who knows what KHONSHU was thinking of? Yes, 6.
The Getting Small Moon is when it's going towards half moon.
But what's small?
Smaller,
what is
like
is that young speak? I don't. What is
it's young
small?
speak for small?
Okay.
Small and cute usually. So.
Okay. Thank you. We love you, KHONSHU. Rebecca.
I gave it a 7, but I did toy with 6.5.
Okay.
But I gave it a 7 on like the reason I switched over a little bit was like on the potential of the story. Like I think it was very much a setup issue, and we've got we'll get there.
Yeah, look, I gave 7.5 again. I just a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun, and I thought the art was cool. The colors, it's just amazing. So it was just really a pleasure to look at. And I know Jonathan, that you weren't a total fan of the art, but yeah, no, I thought it ticked the boxes on that, and I thought the art, the story was interesting enough, and to see Layla, Scarlet Scarab, and to get those other Egyptian deities, and Anubis and the jackals, that's right up my alley with just the mythology and stuff. Just really get into that, and so I thought it really worked well. I can't wait. This is a setup as well, but I can't wait for this showdown between all these villains as well.
Yeah.
So
I'm just looking forward. I mean, I'm really looking forward to where it goes, which I guess is really what you want to come out of a issue 1 of a mini with. Like actually genuinely want to see the rest of the story. So I would say it did its job, regardless of some of the the niggles I have. Oh, also there's a spelling mistake in. I really need to flag that up. Is they say Alaroon instead of Alround.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yes, and I would like to tell off Marvel's editing team. You're terrible, and this is a big deal.
Bissa,
It's not a name that doesn't come up in Moon Knight a lot, and you should
Biro,
all know how it's spelled. So
come on, that's a
come on,
3 there.
editors.
We listed them out at the beginning, so that name and shame. Brevoort, Bissa, and Biro. Come on,
do your job. Do your job.
Do your job. Come on the show if you want. So yeah, good pick up, Rebecca, as well. Mario is what said. I'm impressed. Very good.
Mario
actually, he did actually. Hold tight. I'm going to get it because it was in the the chat that we had. Here we go. So I'm going to read it out because I thought, Mario, that you. Okay. Anyway, let me read it. So Mario writes in, and he says, let me just take that off there. Well, if the spoiler ban has been lifted, I have to confess that I found it rather difficult to reconcile the bloodthirsty and guilt-ridden Moon Knight in this issue with the one I've been following the last few years, who does his mission because he feels that it's his duty not to punish himself. It really felt to me like someone had read the Houston run and decided that they wanted to bring back that portrayal. I think the same plot could have been told in a way that respects the current state of the character better. Call it a half moon. So Mario, but that's just me, he says. Great thoughts. Always appreciated.
Actually. Yeah.
Mm.
The opening sequence is very like the bottom, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When he's drinking and feeling sorry for himself.
And he hasn't. Yeah, it's an interesting point and one that I didn't
That's a good
really
point, Mario.
think about. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and I cannot. Oh, yeah. Let me go all the way back.
This is why it's good that I don't read any feedback before I.
Yes. No, but thank you, Mario. That's a great point. But hopefully things are a lot more entertaining for you in the coming issues to come.
Also,
yes,
that panel there, because Lena also said about that panel where you can see like there's marks on Mark's back.
Mm-hmm.
Which he seems to be linked to some kind of self-flagellation, right?
Oh yeah. There's some self-harm or something involved.
Self-harm. So Lena talked about that in terms of penance and.
Mm-hmm.
So
is actually something that I am going to pay attention to going forward, though.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay, just finally then, I've got it here as well. I'll read out Lena's because I want to do them due justice. Anyway, you know what I mean. So Lena says, okay, I've gotten the issue now. I bought the Layla cover, of course, because why would I not? Here are my thoughts on the issue. I really like the art, especially the depiction of the City of the Dead. I like the story quite a bit too. Pepose was obviously pulling in some elements from the MCU show, but it also reminded me of the Lemire run. Of course, that's not surprising considering that the MCU show was largely based on the Lemire run. One thing that really struck me was the panel in which Mark in narration says, and so every night I punish myself and pray one day my penance will outweigh my guilt. I noticed that in that panel, it shows his scarred back, which is what you said, Jonathan. I'll admit that it was a bit triggering for me because I myself have had a history of NSI, non-suicidal self-injury. But I realized especially that what he said later in the issue about not deserving to dodge the punch, that he was referring to his activities as Moon Knight, as the self-punishment. Another line that really struck me was when Mark told Batter, mental discipline is my middle name. Was this Mark's attempt at self-deprecating humor, or was it meant to be literal? Or was it meant to be literal that he's proud of the progress he's made in controlling his DID? And if the latter, is he still thinking of controlling his DID as keeping Stephen and Jake under Mark's control? Hopefully not, but it is common for the alter who shares the legal name of the body to have difficulty learning to share control of the body with the others. Or maybe, as usual, I'm just overthinking things. I have a tendency to do that. I just want to draw back to some of McKay's run in which Mark was having the control, which is exactly what Lena was referring to. Overall, it was a pretty good issue, and I'm looking forward to the rest of this miniseries. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Thank you, Lena. Bang, boom, Mic drop. Some fantastic feedback. Thank you, every one of you. And I also want to thank Jonathan as well for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. You're welcome back to the temple anytime. Please just let us know.
Especially as in my time zone, it's much easier. Make Ray bend that way. Yeah, no, it's very, very good.
No, yeah. But huge thank you, Jonathan. Really appreciate it, and hope you had fun on the show.
For sure, yeah, definitely. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything you want to plug? I mean, I know I'm just putting it on you now. I don't know. Have you got like anything that you want to share out there for the fellow loonies?
I do some cartooning in a collective called Paper Jam Comics Collective, which is on Instagram. So people can look at that if they like. It's a collective based in the northeast of England.
Nice. Okay.
We love the northeast of England.
It's a good place. Yeah.
It is. I miss it incredibly.
Oh, well.
That was definitely my favourite place to live in the UK. So.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I lived in Newcastle for 13 years before I moved down here. So.
Oh, okay. I did it the other way. So.
Yeah. I would love to go back someday. So.
But no, that's awesome. Jonathan, links in the show notes. I'll make sure that we include that in there as well. But a huge thank you. Rebecca, a huge thank you as well. As always, it's great to see and hear you again. It's always good fun.
To speak to you. Yeah.
Yeah, hoping you can get the rest that you can. I'm glad that you haven't got COVID.
I hope you get some rest too. Yeah, the whole family.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Don't worry. Don't need rest. Next phase, loonies. Just keep a close eye on it. I'll have to just speak with Rebecca, see what lies ahead. There's plenty to choose from. You know, when there's no shortage, so don't worry. But as for what we've got planned, we've just got to nut that down. And as always, a huge thank you to our patroonies. Of course, while I'm here, I may as well. There. I don't know if that's updated, but thank you all the loonies. Please consider becoming a Patreon member, patreon.com/itkmoonnight.com. Jonathan, are you there? Thank God you're there. Thank you. It would have been very embarrassing if you weren't. Also, as well, you can catch us, leave us feedback on feedback@itkmoonnight.com. We've got the website as well, and we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. It's a lot of fun. Just look at the show notes for links there. Jump on, share the love for Mooney, have a chat with Jonathan about Bill Sienkiewicz and potentially selling that Declan Shelby artwork that he has.
Not to say, sorry.
It's all a lot of fun as well. We are part of the collective as well, so I want to give a shout out to Rebecca's other lovely shows, the DCAU DC Animated Universe podcast and the Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast. Yeah, how's that going, Rebecca? Good. You're keeping busy with those as well.
I've spoken to either of them since I've been back, but we're going to do DCAU on next weekend. So
awesome. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Get your podcast catches all at the ready. With that, of course, everybody, it's a big thank you once again, Jonathan. And as always, may KHONSHU watch over the denizens of the night.
Yeah, take care, everyone.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.